This is Robert Kraft, and I'm your host on SNN Network. And joining me right now is Kyle Floyd. He is the CEO and chairman of Vox Royalty. It's a publicly traded company. The symbol is VOX on the TSX Venture. Kyle, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Robert, it's been good. It's been busy. It's been productive. It's been an interesting year, but for Vox, it's been a really exciting time for us and our company and building value for our shareholders.
Very good. Well, let's get after it a little bit. So last time we spoke, it was we published that interview on August 24th. Let's get some corporate highlights since then. What's been going on at Vox?
Yeah, we've had a lot going on, and it's exciting to be able to do this update with you. We've delivered a lot of value for our shareholders since we last spoke in August. I think that day we announced that we secured a producing royalty over South America's largest producing diamond mine in the Browner royalty. We quickly followed that up with a royalty acquisition over Thor Exploration's Segilola gold asset that's in West Africa that is expected to be producing early next year. That was a very exciting royalty for us. That happens to be over what is, by all accounts, Africa's highest grade open pit gold mine. And then we've announced a few additional royalties and portfolios of royalties that really move the needle for us. We acquired a royalty recently over Bushveld's, one of Bushveld's assets in South Africa. That's a producing vanadium operation. So we're excited about that Brits royalty that we acquired. And then we also acquired a royalty portfolio from Trafigura subsidiaries Nearstar and Breakwater that has the potential to be up to 10,000 gold equivalent ounces in resource that we've acquired in totality across what could be up to 7 or 8 royalties. So it's been a very, very active period of time for Vox in terms of finding royalties and bringing those into the portfolio for our investors.
COVID notwithstanding, I mean, was this the plan for Vox for 2020 was to continue to go out, look at potential acquisitions, bring them into the portfolio? I mean, is everything that's happened thus far, not just since we last talked, but for 2020 in line with what your plan was for this year?
We're right on schedule. In fact, we're probably a little bit ahead of schedule. We have a fantastic team. We have 6 full-time individuals hunting around the world to find the best royalties available at the best value for our shareholders. And we've been very successful in expanding our geographic distribution. The recent royalty portfolio that was acquired really expanded our North American footprint. We obviously have the huge competitive advantages in Australia. We continue to build on that. But COVID really hasn't impacted our business much. We obviously have empathy for the businesses that have been deeply impacted by the pandemic. In a lot of ways, it has kind of fortified our business in some capacities. So it hasn't slowed us down at all. Certainly, there's a lot more being done virtually, but our business was really set up to be successful in that type of environment. So we're ahead of schedule. I'll tell you, we've got a lot going for us right now and excited for what the next year holds for us.
All right, so I'm definitely going to follow up on that in a second. But during this time period, what would you say is I mean, you've gone to a number of investor events in the last few months here as well. So, what's been the number one question that you've been getting from investors that maybe you'd like to address on here?
Yeah, that's a good question, Robert. I think the number one question we get from investors is, what does Vox look like, say, a year from now? And it's actually kind of hard to pinpoint, but it's a very good question. The reality is Vox is the fastest growing royalty company. It's not just the fastest growing royalty company, we're the fastest growing royalty company at great value. And we're finding great assets all around the globe at really an unprecedented rate. So it's hard to project exactly where we are a year from now. But what I can tell you is, we've got clearly from the inside out, we've got the best view on what our pipeline looks like. And our pipeline dwarfs everything that we've done in the past. And what we've done in the past is we brought in 45 royalties across 17 different transactions since 2019. So when the future is looking a lot more bright than the past, and what we've been able to accomplish, I can tell you that over the next 12 months, Vox is looking far different from where it is now, which is very successful in its own right.
Very good. Well, Kyle, from what you can tell us, and I asked you this question back in August about value catalysts and all that kind of stuff. So love to get some more additional information. Are we in line? Again, from what you can tell us, are we in line with what some of those things that you said in that August interview, or is there anything additional you'd like to add for the rest of this year going into 2021?
Yeah, I think looking at us from an investor perspective, we said we would focus on precious metals. We said we would focus on near-term producing assets. What I can tell you is that is what we're bringing into the portfolio in volume. And I think it's going to catch a lot of people by surprise what we bring in over the next 6 months, and what we're successful on closing on and building the portfolio around. There's some very, very interesting opportunities that fall into those buckets of near-term or in production assets, and especially along the lines of precious metals exposure. So we continue to build in all the facets that royalty investors look for. We're increasing the total volume of royalties in the portfolio. We're increasing the exploration moving into development, and development moving into production. That's all happening organically. And then we add the acquisitions on, at which we do at a faster pace and more efficiently than anyone else in the industry. It really sets the stage for what's going to be a very exciting 2021 for Vox Royalty Corp.
All right, Kyle, you said I was about to let you go, but I have to ask, how is Vox able to do these transactions more efficiently? And, what you just said that's a claim. We got to ask about that.
Yeah. And fair point. What we've really built is we built an engine for finding interesting royalties, and then the capacity to execute once we find those royalties, but it's underpinned with our technical team. One of the key advantages of Vox is that our business is focused with technical capacity. We have 2 mining engineers and 2 geologists that are as commercially savvy when it comes to royalties and assets as anybody in the industry. And that allows us to quickly distill asset value. So it's our ability to find great assets and then find those royalties that overlay those assets. And we have the engine and the process set up to move very quickly and efficiently in terms of understanding what we want to buy and at what value we're willing to buy those assets at, and then close and bring those into the portfolio. And so we've delivered unprecedented growth in the royalty sector.
Kyle, where can our audience go and find everything they need to know to follow along the Vox story?
Yeah, voxroyaltycorp.com is a great place to get started. We certainly have more information available to investors. So if you're curious about finding out more, reach out to us through the website and we'll get in touch for further information.
Awesome. Well, Kyle, thank you so much for joining me today. Good luck. Stay safe. And I look forward to our next update.
Likewise. Thanks so much, Robert.